Thank you everyone who just joined us and taking the time to take the class with us today during your lunch break. My name is Veronica Charpentier, and I am the Urban Horticulture Program Specialist here at the Extension Office. We are a team of 5, and I am one of them. The University of Florida, the Extension Miami-Dade County, is the liaison between research conducted by scientists at the University of Florida and other universities and our local community in Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department. We have 4 different locations, one in Homestead, one in Key Biscayne, Hialeah, and Miami Lakes. And I do work from the Homestead office, which is where am I located. The University of Florida help our clients to solve their problems related to agriculture, to horticulture, natural resources, water, energy, youth, families, and communities. We also provide educational outreach through workshops, seminars, phone consultation, office visits, educational material, plant clinics, field evaluations. We also teach classes on our local libraries. All those programs are for free, and we do have this type of classes online as well. You can see those if you are receiving our newsletter, or if you follow us on social media. You can go into our calendar of events, and you will see all the classes that are available and free to the public. Our customers are growers, homeowners, youth, the landscape industry, families, community, organization, and others. Personally, I take care of homeowners with any kind of questions you have regarding your gardens. There's issues with diseases or pests. I am here to assist you in person by phone call or also by email. My information is going to be at the end of the presentation, so you can take a note of my email address and the phone number so you can contact me. We have 67 extension offices, so there's 1 extension office in each county. So if you're not in Dade County, reach out, and because there's 1 office in your county, and they will be able to assist you. So before I start sharing the plans that I decided to talk about today, I do want to review the 9 principles of the Florida-friendly landscaping. Hopefully, most of you have heard about them, and if not, I'm just going to go real quick into them. These are 9 principles that we recommend that you are aware of during, your purchasing of plants, and once you decide new designs that you want to do for your landscape. It's very important to follow them. And I'm going to ask Dalton if he could please share in the chat the link to the publication where you can read more in depth regarding each specific principle. But we're going to go with number 1, which is the most important, which is right plant in right place. If you choose the right plant for the right place, you most likely are going to succeed with the specific plan and with your project in your garden. So that's number 1, very important. Number 2, water efficiently. Just make sure that you're not either overwatering or underwatering your plants. Most of the phone calls that I receive with problems with plants is due to overwatering. There's so much water that the roots are going to intake. So if there's overwatering, there's always going to be problems with root rot, fungus, and other issues. So it's better to underwater than to overwater. Number 3 will be fertilize appropriately. Same thing goes back to principle number 1. If you choose the right plant, then you're not going to have to be adding additional fertilizer for this plant actually to grow right. So it's important not to over fertilize, because sometimes instead of doing something right for the plant, you can be promoting some toxicity, and it's not good for the plant. Another one, the principle is number 4, which is applying mulch to your landscape. You want to apply mulch to provide additional nutrients to the soil, because once the mulch starts to decompose, it's going to bring nutrients to the soil. Also aesthetics, it looks better in your landscape, and very important for those of you who fight a lot with weeds, then this control weeds as well. So it's recommended mulch. attracting wildlife, you want to have butterflies and different insects in your yard. So there's specific plants that are going to be attracting your pollinators. So you need to make the appropriate selection of your plants. On number 6, we have manage your yard pests responsibly. And there's a lot of insects out there in your yard, but they're not all of them are damaging your plants. They are working together to control the bud bugs, which happen to be the 1% of the insects out there are going to be causing problems, but the other ones are working together to control the ones that are making a problem in your yard. Recycling your yard waste will be number 7. You can do composting. You can the clippings of your turf grass, put it back in your yard. So this is how you will recycle your yard waste. Number 8 will be reduce the stormwater runoff. You want to make sure that you direct the water runoff back to your garden instead of having the water going directly to the pavement and creating issues later on in the body of waters. So number 9, it's going to be protect the waterfront. Same thing, if you live close, if your garden is close to a waterfront, you want to have a buffer zone to protect the waterfront. But when you start doing applications of fertilizers, then that extra fertilizer sometimes will not end up in the lake or in the river if you live close to a body of water. So those are the 9 principles. There's a QR code that you may want to take a picture. It's not the 9 principles, but it's a plant guide that will show you different plants that you can use for your yard, and it's going to talk about the different requirements each plant has, so that will help you to select your right plant for your rent place. So that will be the 9 principles, and once we have reviewed those, I'm going to start sharing the plants that I have selected for you. So the first one that I selected, I happen to like the most, is the slash pine, or the Pinus elidoi. It's also called Dade County pine. It's a Florida native. It grows well in zones 7 through 11. It's a tall, slender pine, straight to contorted trunk with a conical to egg-shaped crown. You can see it here at the bottom. So it's a straight and slender. It grows in full sun to partial shade. It's high drought tolerant. It also accepts different type of soils.
Beryl, we're not seeing the slides switch over. I'm going to come to your office and make it to where we can see the slides that you're on currently.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. You can see it now? Okay. I apologize for that, technical difficulties. So let's go to the slash pine. It grows slower than other pine species. It reaches about 40 feet tall. The ones that are grown in nurseries, but the ones that are, in its natural habitat can get to 100 feet tall. It looks wonderful as a specimen, making sure to choose the right plant at the right place. And this is important because the slash pine tend to drop its leaves, which are needle-like, and they can get slippery if they fall in the sidewalk or in the pavement. So you want to make sure that if you decide to keep it as a plant that is going to be growing in the ground, you don't choose a site like the one that I have in the picture. So this is an example of you don't want to do it because it's too close to the sidewalk. So if there's people walking and the leaves drop quite often, then it could get slippery. And the same thing, if it's close to a driveway, they can fall into the car and they have like a sticky secretion sometimes, the leaves, and that can be a problem for the car. So this is a real example that I have. I have purchased this slash pine a few years ago. I just got it in a 3-gallon pot and put it in a bigger pot as a decoration during the holidays. It's not going to replace your Christmas tree. That's not the idea, because unless you want something small. But if you want something big that And it's not a replacement, but it could go as a decoration. And later on, once you start, putting your decorations away, then you can decide whether you want to keep it in the pot and as it grows, put it in bigger pots, or you can put it in the ground as well. Now, don't let the pictures fool you because this tree here, which was actually one I purchased, is not the one here. And unfortunately, I don't have this anymore. When there's too many people working in your garden, like, there's more than you, family or friends, and you don't label your products appropriately, accidents happen. So I recommend make sure when you use certain chemicals around or products to label them. This my pine was growing fine, and then I saw some insects that were causing some damage, and I decided to apply some horticulture soap, which I thought that was on my sprayer, but no, somebody else have borrow it and put some herbicide. So while I was thinking that I was taking care of the pest with some horticulture soap, it was actually a herbicide. So a couple of days when I went out to check on my tree, it was all dry and yellow. And yeah, unfortunately, yes. So be careful when you use products to keep them in a safe place and labeled properly. The slash pine does have some problems with scales. And they also have issues with the sulfite. So you want to keep an eye on those. You can wash them with, as I said before, with horticulture soap, or you can wash them with a hose with water, and it should be taking care of that. But just keep in mind to keep looking for that because they do tend to have this problem. It's a very low maintenance tree and very, 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 very pretty and nice to grow. The next one, it's going to be the holiday cactus, or it goes by the scientific name is Schlumbergera truncata. That's the scientific name. It's native from Brazil. And actually, this plant was named after a botanist. That's his last name. And truncata means cut in a square. So if you can see the stems, they are kind of cut in the middle, formed like a little square. So that's what the word truncata means. I learned that by doing my research. And before I go any further, everything that I'm sharing with you, I'm going to share at the end all the QR codes with the publications, and the publications have all the information regarding all the plants that we're going to be seeing today. So there's no need to take notes because the QR codes are going to be there available for you, and all the information is on the publication. This is a succulent plant that grows mostly as an epiphyte, meaning it grows attached to another plant or on trunks, on branches, and occasionally they have been seen also on rocks. They form shrubs that may grow up to 3 feet across. I haven't seen them in person that big, but I do have seen some of them in the internet. They can get really big and beautiful, and once they flower, they just look very, very pretty. The stems are flattened, resembling leaves, so they're not going to be leaves, they're actually stems. And there's different varieties. There's the Thanksgiving cactus, the Christmas cactus, and the Eastern spring cactus. If you can see, the stems are quite different, and the flowers are going to be different as well. So in the case of the Christmas cactus, this will be the flower, and this will be the stem. Now the Eastern cactus and the Thanksgiving cactus, they all have different flowers, and the stems are different as well. The flowers are very showy and very colorful. They are zygomorphic, which means that they are bilateral identical. If you do like an imaginary line, you can see that both sides look exactly the same. They grow best in partial shade or diffuse light, but they don't do good in direct light. If you have them in direct light, they turn yellow. They lose this really nice green that the stem have. And sometimes even you will see the margins start to turn a little bit purple is because they're getting too much sun. So it's better in a shady place. Spring is the best period for repotting. However, they don't like to be repotted too often. They like to be pot bound. So you want to leave them there if they're doing good. Sometimes we make the mistake that they're looking great, but oh, I think they need a bigger pot. And then we repot them. And on the contrary, instead of them doing better, they just start looking not that great because there's some plants that they do like to be tight. And this plant is one of those. So don't repot it. Just leave it there. The recommendation is, maybe every 3 years. So don't be repotting it too often. Spring is the best period for repotting. It produces new stem segments during the summer and should be kept continually moist and fed. You can do slow release fertilizer. That will do good for this type of plant. From August to October, the water should be limited. In winter, it forms buds that bloom during Christmas time as well as later. It requires warmer conditions, regular watering, and should not be moved. And after flowering is over, watering should be limited. These plants, when they sell commercially, the growers are going to play with the light because this plant requires a certain amount of hours of dark to be able to produce the flowers. So if you have them indoors, like right now, it will be I would say the Easter perhaps cactus. It's the one that is flowery right now. So if you have it indoors and sometimes you have some lights during the night, you want to turn those out. Even though I do have one, a light during the night, it's very, very dim. And I saw that my plant actually is starting to flower. So, but that's what the growers do. They lower the amount of light, of hours of light, to be able to induce that flowering of the plant. If you want to propagate them, you can do it in water. So what you're gonna do, you're just gonna cut because there's like a little link in between the stems. So you just depending, you can get 1 or 2 stems together and then clip them and put them in water. Wait until it roots, and then you're gonna put it in a pot. You're gonna make sure that soil, a good mix will be planting soil with sand and some perlite as well. You want a good aeration. They don't want to be too compacted with the soil, so you want to do a good mix there. And if you're doing it directly in the soil, what you want to do is you want to cut the segment and you want to let it callus out for a few days. I would say like a week, and after that you can go ahead and plant it in the soil. Just make sure, remember, there's no roots, so just misting of the stems will help the plant start rooting. So that's with the holiday cactus. Then the next one that I chose, it's the Araucaria heterophylla, also known as Norfolk pine. This is a native plant for Norfolk Island in the South Pacific. Slow-growing tree, grown both indoors and outdoors. It grows better in indirect light. Let me pause a little bit here. And Dalton, let me know if the screen moves on your side.
Yeah, I see you on the Norfolk pine right now.
Okay, you're still seeing that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this plant, as I said, it's native from Norfolk Island, but it's sold here in the States. In its natural habitat, it can reach out at 200 feet tall, pretty big, and 10 feet diameter trunk. But here in the States, it can grow up to 60 to 80 feet. It grows better in indirect light. It prefers acidic soil. For indoor growing, use a peat-based potting mixture. It's drought and salt tolerant. You're going to allow the soil to dry out slightly between watering, and I would say not only this plant, but all of the plants avoid waterlogging. It prefers warmer, wetter climates. You're gonna feed your plant with a slow release fertilizer. The Norfolk vine is a conifer, and that's not required. Now, once the lower branches or leaves start to dry, you can cut them back. You're gonna see it's the ones at the bottom that start showing the leaves start turning brown, and at the touch they can be very dry. So you can clip those. It's not recommended to clip the top. I haven't done it, so I really don't know what will happen, but for what I read, it's not recommended to clip it anyway. So this is the original plant that I bought. You can see those in the supermarket or any bulk stores that sell them. Usually they, put some ornamentals and decorate them very, very pretty. So after the season is over, but you want to keep your plant, you can repot it in a bigger pot. The one that I have here on the left side of the screen, it's the original one, and then as it grew, it went to this other pot outside. This was inside, this is outside, and this one is a different one. It's not the same as the one on the top, but it's going to be the same one to your right. So you can see how tall it gets, and the pot is already kind of small for the pine, but it's not causing any trouble. Most likely I will move it, but my plan is to move it inside the house for the holiday season and use this as the Christmas tree, because the one I used to have before, it was a fake one and it was 24 years old, so it was not working anymore. So the idea is to bring this one inside. Hopefully it works, and try something different, right? Why not? So this one will be moving inside. I can talk about it in a different class perhaps after and share what happened. What else can I share about this one? Yeah, I think it's an option for another holiday plant, and you can still keep it later on after the holidays. The next one is going to be rosemary. This is very common. We use them. You like cooking, I'm pretty sure you know you can use it to spice and condiment some of your food. It's native from the Mediterranean. It's a perennial herb. It grows in full sun. It likes sandier, drier, well-drained soil. If it's growing outdoors, make sure it's not underneath very bushy trees, because they do like sun. So you don't want to put them underneath a tree that has a heavy canopy that is going to be blocking, because they do well in full sun. It grows well in containers. Same thing with enough light. Just make sure that it's enough space for them to grow. And when you see that it's overgrowing, usually you check the roots are not coming out from the pot, then it's time to repot. Good drought tolerance once they are mature. It's a heat tolerance. However, high humidity can lead to rot and fungal issues. It attracts bees and other pollinators. Pruning is necessary if you want to give it a shape, like the one in the picture on the top, like a topiary. But otherwise, personally, I just like it when it grows just wild. And if you're using, as I say in the, when you're cooking, you just clip the fresh ones from the top, and then you encourage new growth, because they do sometimes get a little bit leggy, and you can see the wooden stems kind of bare with no leaves. So you want to cut it back, and then you're going to be encouraging new growth. Okay, so there's no need for pruning, but to encourage new growth, yeah, I will recommend. And if you have growing in a pot, you can do it once a year, and just go one size bigger than the original pot. There's some recipes that I love, like chicken rosemary or roasted potato with rosemary. It's really good. So you can have something that is decorating your house and later on your landscape, but you can also use for cooking. The next one that I chose is, well, this is very common. This is the one that we see the most, the Euphorbia purpurima or Poinsettia or Christmas star. We see them all the time, and now more and more we see them in different colors. Me personally, the red one is my favorite one because it's the meaning of the specific season. So this is the one that I like. But there's whites, there's pinks. A coworker just gave one to me today, which is a very nice fuchsia, very pretty. And the brackets, the leaves are a little bit different. So this plant is native from Mexico. It was introduced in 1825 by a botanist who happened to be the ambassador of the United States at the time in Mexico. So I guess he liked it so much that he decided to bring it to the United States and start breeding them. And now we have them everywhere. They're beautiful. They're very colorful and showy flower, which we might think, people might think that the red part's the flower, but it's not. It's not the flower. Those are called bracts, which are modified leaves, right? But the flower is going to be right in the middle. They're not that showy. They're yellow and white, but that's the real flower of the poinsettia. These are just the bracts, which is, as I said, modified leaves that originally they're green, but then later on they start getting red. And the way it happens is because of the day being shorter and being there more hours of dark. Then that's when the leaves start turning red. So same thing as we saw before with the cactus. The growers, when they're growing them, beginning of October, they start cutting back the hours of the light in the greenhouses. So they have them ready for the season. The season they're going to be all red and pretty, and pink or whatever the other color is. Some people think they're poisonous, but they're not. But some people could be allergic to the white milky sap that they have when you break the stem, but they're not poisonous. It's important to know that, but be careful because some people can be allergic. It blooms, as I said before, when the days are shorter, and it's in October when the growers start to change the light. The temperature range will be 65 degrees at night and 75 to 80 degrees during the day. Inside, you want to keep them in a bright area like the one we see here. Actually, this is our extension office. We had this plant growing in one of our shade house, and it was green. And then later on, as the bracts started turning red, and she was very showy, so it was time to bring her out to share with our visitors. So this is actually an actual picture at the extension office. So you want to keep it inside in a bright area. You water once you feel that the soil is dry. So make sure you don't overwater. And very important with this plant, which is, I know by the time when they start coming out in the market, people start calling. I don't know what's happening with my poinsettia, it's dying. So my first question is it still with the wrapping paper? Yeah, it has the wrapping paper. Okay, take out the wrapping paper. And when you take the wrapping paper, all the water is sitting there. So that's super very common, and the plants start to rot and they die. So if you buy them, make sure that when you're watering, you take out the wrapping, you water, the water goes all the way through, and then for decoration, of course, you want that nice bright paper on, so you put it back. But every time you water, you need to make sure that you take that out. Outdoors, you're going to choose a sunny spot that will not receive any artificial light at night, because you wanted it to turn red later on during the year. So once you put it in the ground, it's recommended that you choose a north side of your house. The plant will have the chance to actually turn those leaves red. It prefers a soil pH between 5.5 and 6.5. So if you are listening from the north here, the south, it grows well in our gardens. And I have grown it before, and it does well. You have to just choose the right location. You're going to fertilize monthly from March to October in Central and South Florida, and May to September in North Florida. There are some insects that attack them, even though I haven't seen them, but it's mentioned that aphids, mealybugs, soap scales, whiteflies, and spider mites can be an issue, and all those insects can be just taken care by horticulture soaps or washing them, or if you see that a part of the plant is too infected, when you just clip them. There's also a Poinsettia hornworm, so you just want to pick it carefully and then just get rid of them. When it's like by March, I'll say March, you can put them in the ground if you still have them and you have them in pot. You put them in the ground and then you let it establish a little bit and you wait maybe a couple of weeks and then you can prune them back. You can be very aggressive with the pruning. They're going to come back. You want to be aggressive because you want to encourage new growth. And you'll see little by little the new growth will start showing. So this is a nice one. And this picture is in the publication from the university. It's very pretty. A coworker was also sharing that it would be nice to have something like that. So perhaps we'll embark in that journey here in Extension and see how it goes. We'll take a picture. The next one is the Anthuriums. They are a tropical plant. They have shiny dark green leaves. They have a heart-shaped leaves. They are showy flower bracts in different colors. I've seen it in salmon, in white, and the pink one is the more common. You can grow them inside in a sunny location and outdoors with a low light. It blooms year-round. It grows to 2-3 feet tall, and the soil must be moist and well drained. Now they like the moist. So if you have them inside, you can put them in a little tray with pebbles on the bottom with water, so you maintain a good moisture for the plant. And you can also spray them every week, or it depends. Just keep them away from the air conditioning as well, because those drafts of air are not good for them. And if they're growing outdoors and there's not enough humidity, just make sure that you mist them. This one you can split them, and you can share, or you can do multiple plants by splitting them. Just be careful when you do that. Very careful. You start splitting them, and you can, from one plant, depending on how big it is, you can have multiples. You can either put them in the ground or put them in pots and give them away, perhaps for the next holiday. The next one, it's the Amaryllis, a subtropical bulb native from South Africa. It's glossy, strap-like leaves. The larger the bulbs, the larger the flowers. They grow in pots and in the ground. You're going to plant the bulb in the center of the pot. You're going to keep the soil moist and do not overwater. I think this is in general to all plants, right? We have mentioned it before, not overwatering. And make sure that when you have with those dishes at the bottom, you make sure that you don't collect the water there, because you may have the dish, the water is there, but the plant's still gonna be sucking that extra water. So you want to empty those to prevent any type of problems with the roots. Oops. You're going to place your pot in a cool, bright spot. When it sprouts, move the pot to a spot with direct sunlight. When flowers fade, take your plant outdoors and fertilize. So we're talking now when they are in the pot, right? So when a flower fade already, you can take it outside and you can fertilize it with a slow release. 666 will work. Good for this plant. And another option is to transplant the bulb to the garden between September and January in Florida. So this plant can be, it's going to grow all year round. You can split the bulbs easily. You can cut them in 4. Just make sure that your tools are being disinfected. It depends on how big the bulb is. If it's not that big, we can just cut it in half. If it's a large one, then you can split it in 4. And then just put them in the ground, and they'll be fine. It's good to plant them in groups. They look very pretty when they're all in groups together. And you can plant them in front of another shrub that perhaps you may have. do not provide too much shade because the flower will not look that bright and pretty with their colors. So the right amount of light will make the flower bloom and have beautiful colors. The publication also talks more about how to take care of amaryllis. And the last one that I chose for today is the Bixa orejana, or the Achiote tree. And this is a beautiful tree, and it can also be a shrub. And it turns with those beautiful colors right in the holiday season. I have beautiful heart-shaped, glossy leaves, and the flowers have beautiful purpley white 5-petal flowers, which is a beautiful contrast between the green of the leaves and the color of the flowers. And additionally to that, you have what's inside of, let me see, I just want to share here, before I share that picture with you. So inside these little pots, inside the pots, you're gonna find the seeds. But what you think when you touch them, they are so velvety and soft, right? So the contrast with the three colors, the red, the purple, and the green of the leaves, it's just very attractive in your landscape. So the Achiote tree, there you go. So once they dry out and they open, inside you're gonna have the seeds. And these seeds are used as condiments for food. And there's also is gonna be a natural food coloring, right? So we don't need a red 40, we need something that is natural, and the seeds of the achiote will provide that. So there's some food actually that it's being colored with these seeds naturally, and then a paste is made also out of it to condiment different foods, like the one you see on the photo. This is a soup, special soup, really good soup made out of potato, and it gives that special flavor and the color of achiote. It's also called the lipstick tree, Achiote or anoto. It's native from tropical Americas. The height, it's between 6 to 12 feet tall, and it spreads 6 to 12 feet as well. You can control it. Here at the extension, we have it pretty big, but you can control it and have it as a shrub. And it will be beautiful when it starts displaying all those flowers, right? It grows in full sun, medium watering, low maintenance. Yeah, you just wanna, keep it on a decent side. So pruning is recommended. It's evergreen. Those leaves are gonna be green throughout the year, has the showy flowers. As I said before, it can use as a hedge of a tree, and it grows good in zone 10 through 12. These are the QR codes that I mentioned before. So I'm gonna stop there for a little time so you can take pictures. There are all publications from the University of Florida, and they have all the important information you need to grow all the plants that we went through. If you don't have time to take a picture, then I'm gonna share my information after, so you can call me, you can email me. If you're close by, or if you decided to come down to Homestead, you can always visit us. There's tons of nurseries here with different type of plants, and you can always come to the extension and we'll be happy to assist you. Now, this is my contact information. That's my email, my phone number. If you have any questions, you send me an email. I'm always here to assist the clients. Our service is for free. Phone call, it's good way to contact me as well. However, email is best, because sometimes I'm on the phone or helping people in person, and I may miss your call, but I will return your call in between 24 to 48 hours. We also have our social media there, so you can follow us. As I said at the beginning, we teach free classes on different libraries, and we post those events on our website, so you can follow us and keep in touch with us. I don't know if there's any comments or something that you would like to share with me, or have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them.
So I don't see any questions yet in the chat. If anyone who's attending right now has a question, you can pop up the chat bubble. Go to the bar that's either on the top or bottom of your screen, depending on the type of computer you have, and click around where it says chat. Once you hover over it with your mouse, you should see it kind of highlight. Once you click that, it'll pop out a little chat menu. You can go ahead and write us a message there if you have a question for Veronica. I've also put in the chat links to our upcoming event newsletter, which we send out once a month. So you're not going to be, getting overwhelmed with a bunch of emails if you subscribe to that email letter. All of our classes, well, not all of them, but I'd say about 90% of them are free. We do present at places like the Kampong and Deering Estate that sometimes charge. Most of our classes are free, and any other kind of outreach or anything like that we're doing around the community will also be shared in that newsletter, including new videos uploaded to our YouTube, new blogs that are available on our UF IFAS Miami-Dade County blog website, as well as community events like, for instance, this Saturday, we're doing a plant clinic with our Master Gardener volunteers at the Coral Gables Farmers Market. So if you'd like to stay privy to all those upcoming events, you can register for free. The link is in the chat. I've also posted a link for Veronica mentioned one of the Florida friendly principles is composting. We've actually got a virtual composting series that's held with the Pinecrest Library once a month or once every other month, one of the two. And all Miami-Dade County residents who attend that free class qualify for a free composter donated by the Solid Waste Department. So a great way to get into composting. And you can learn all about it there at that workshop, which is also, virtually presented. So you could do it from the comfort of your own home as well. And then, of course, I've got the 9 principles information in there. If there's any other information you'd like from me, please go ahead and put it in the chat or contact either Veronica and I, and we'd be happy to help you out. We'll go ahead and stick around for a few more minutes in case there's questions.